Alright, well, first step in today's project is to make extension cords. I need to make 16 extension cords to go up to palm tree. And what I'm doing is I have this cable, which is a 2-conductor 16 gauge cable. Alright, it's about the same size as some stranded Christmas lights would be about 16 gauge, maybe even bigger than the normal. Can't focus in on what I want to focus in on here. But I've already made 2 of them, actually 2.5. But there's 2 of them there wrapped up. They're about 35 feet long. And again, I'm working with the ends that I've cut off with old extension cords, my plugs, male and female ends. If you have a set of lights that go bad, or you're converting to LEDs or something else, and you, in my opinion, cut off the ends, because these things here they're not super expensive, but they can save you money. Every little bit counts. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just stripping back the protective coating and the innards that kind of protect the wires. Alright, and I've got my female end. It's going on one end, obviously. Now what I'm using to combine these, or to splice them together, are these Scotch locks. They're by 3M. They're filled with silicones, so they're waterproof, and it's hard to hold the phone and do them. But basically I'm stripping the end that comes from the Christmas string light, because the thickness of the cable is a little big to go into the end. So I strip it down and then I shove it in there, so you can see a little bit of the green coating is in the bottom, but the stripped part is obviously making connection to the metal actual clamp or tooth inside. The side from the 16 gauge cable obviously fits in that the hole at the bottom enough where you don't have to do that. You do not have to strip these to make the connection. The only reason I did, like I said, is because the coating here on this wire is just a little bit thicker than the hole size. And then when you clamp them down, they do have these pliers that you can get with these notch in them, and that's what these are for. You can clamp them down with a regular pair of pliers, but you want to make sure that here we go, that it is clamped nice and even all the way down. And these pliers give you the ability to do that. You can do it with your regular pliers, but you might find that it's sticking up on one side a little bit, so you have to turn it around and then clamp it again, and just make sure you make a good connection. So we do obviously the female on one end and the male on the other, and then we have ourselves a custom extension cord. I'm only running no more than 2 strands of Christmas lights on this 16 gauge wire, not pulling a bunch of load on this cable, so it should be just fine. If you're going to be running, I wouldn't run this. I wouldn't do this for a normal extension cord. If you're going to be running multiple stuff or anything like that, something heavy load, obviously this is not going to work. But to run from the 16 channel AC controller to the stranded Christmas lights, this will be perfectly fine. So I've already made 2. I got to make 14 more, and given the sizes as away, so these will be custom, and I'll have them labeled, so when I take them down, I'll store them away. Next year when I do the same thing, most likely I'll have my extension cords already pre-built for me. Alright, well, I'm climbing the pole. I lay them downstairs. They're helping me out from about here all the way down, not all the way down to the bottom, but mostly it's 40 feet. So we're going to be doing 8 channels, and that's 5 foot a channel. And so we got all the lights staged down there, all the extension cords staged down there. So I'll just be, first thing is I got to see if I can trim some of these bushes, or these palm fronds that are hanging low. Get this thing cleaned up a little bit before I start putting lights on it. Well, I've gotten more than halfway done since I've last recorded, but trying to record while I was on the gas is really, really hard, and it's really painful, so I just kept on moving as quickly as I can. What I've got here is just a makeshift little holder for my disco ball. This is kind of like last minute, but I set this up
I set the laser to the highest possible setting, just in case I wanted to shoot the laser at it. And then my moving heads on the roof will be able to point at it too, but I think this will be a cool effect. So I just kind of rigged up a shelf bracket and then attached it to the tree with bungee cords, just so I had an extra little effect where if I wanted to shoot the lights on it. Now, to try to get my spacing as right as possible, 40 feet, 8 channels, it's 5 foot a channel. I've taken my mule tape and I'm doing 2.5 feet sections at a time. So I basically took 2.5 foot of rope, tied a knot in it, and that's my measuring tape as I go down. Obviously the top of the tree is thinner than the bottom, so the spacing is going to having to spread out a little bit as we go down to the bottom, and maybe at the very bottom I might have to go with 3 strands instead of 2. But I got 3 more channels to do, and I'm doing, red and white. I mean, blue and white. So hopefully I'm checking them as I go, because it's getting up to these. If these sections go out, it's going to be extremely difficult. So I'm trying to check them and get new. All the blue lights are brand new, so hopefully I won't have any problems with them this season. Well, that's the white all the way up. I don't want to show you the blue because I have half a strand out. And the thing that sucks is I tested every single one. Every blue string up there is a brand new out of the box. I only tested it before I put it up. Also tested it after I installed it on the tree. But I plugged it in, and about halfway up the tree, I've got half of a section that's out. So I will be I went up there, and luckily I can reach it from the ladder. Because if I couldn't reach it from the ladder, then I'd be out of luck, because I can't gaff with the lights on the tree. So I will be replacing that whole blue strand because I can't get it fixed. But I want to do it during the daytime where I can see. So that'll be maybe a Saturday morning project. All right. Tonight, what I'm going to do, kind of what I've been doing every night, is set up my lawn chair out here and program the DMX lights, and hopefully get some more programming done. All right, we're going to go ahead and tackle this project today. As you can see, we've got half of this strand out, part of this strand out, almost all of this strand out, and we had one that was malfunctioning a little bit, which I think was this one, and another one here that's out. It's my first year with these lights, so I don't know if this is common or if the tree falling earlier caused some of these to go out or what have you, but basically to go down and drop down the ones that are not communicating properly, and then basically changing them out, and I'll take you along for the ride. All right, so here is where the strip ends. Now I brought it down and I've plugged it in down here, but this is where we lose signal. This doesn't mean that every single one of these is bad. That just means that either this one is bad or this one is bad. And so what we're going to do is we're going to replace both of these bulbs, and we'll keep them as spares just in case we get in a pinch and a bind. One of these might still be good that we can put in line in the future, but since we have the extra pixels, we're going to go ahead and replace both of these now, because the output, I'm wiggling these things, wires, everything. It's not like a loose connection, so but it could be the connection in here outputted to this pixel, or something with this pixel that's bad, that's not passing any of the data. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect it. We're going to make this cut here, and we're going to splice in 2 new pixels, make another splice here, and then hopefully with any luck that'll take care of that. Alright, this signal does travel in a specific direction. It comes from this way, comes down the line, and then continues on. Every light bulb that feeds it from this, the wire that comes from here, I'm not seeing any definite information on these that tells us which direction the signal is supposed to flow. There's marking on the wire, there's a tracer, and then see if I can focus in on here. there's some information here. It tells you data, negative, and I think positive is the other one. All right, but making because I could splice these in basically backwards, and I'm sure that that would be a problem. So the signal's flowing this way. So the cable comes from here. As you can see, it's on this side of the bulb, and there's the chip. It comes out, and it comes into this side of the bulb. There's no chip. You flip this around, the wire that's coming out has the chip. So I'm going to continue with that pattern. I've checked all the bulbs are going that same way. So when I splice in this new section, you got the wire that's coming out, the one without the chip, that's output. Nope, sorry, that's input. So the signal is coming in, and then it's coming out this side with the chip. So this is going to be towards the tail end of the strip, and this is going to be towards the head end of the strip. All right, so basically in this order. Now I'm using these Scotch locks. You have to separate the cables. Make sure you match up the, you know, the positive and the negative and the neutral, or the data wires. Wish I can get it to read there. What does that say? It's hard to read. Positive, data, and negative. I want to make sure we match up those on both ends and make sure the data is flowing in the right direction, and this should take care of it. So let me get it put back together. All right, then it's in. Now I will give you fair warning that it was a little tough because of the slack that I left myself to splice, but I made it work. So still have the same spacing. If I needed to splice this part again, I might be a little bit too short. This between here and here is a little tight to be able to get the 3-inch spacing that I've got. Well, let's go ahead and plug her back in and see if that fixed this issue. Get this guy here. I'm gonna have to turn this off. And sure enough, we're up and running. So it's as easy as that. Now the old ones that I'm, where is that? Where are they at? The ones I just cut out. They're around here somewhere. When I was taking them out, you're there. When I was taking this one out, popping them out of the strip, one of them started like flickering and stuff like that. So that's the one that was bad. It was the lead one, which is going to be this one here. So this is the pixel that's bad. I can almost guarantee you, put an eye on it. So I'm going to keep this one because this one's probably perfectly fine. I'll keep this as a spare, but I'm going to mark this in such a way to know that, hey, this one is probably the bad one here. I'm not going to say that with 100% certainty, but I'm about 95% certain that this is the bad bulb causing the issue. Anyway, I've got 4 more to do, and I've got one acting kind of funny, so I got to try to figure out what that's all about. All right. So, with the exception of, there it is, right there, that one red light. See how it's going out? Everything on this tree is working, except for that. And I don't think I'm going to change that. It's just one little red light. So I had to replace 2 pixels out of the 5 strands. The other ones were just loose bulbs. I got them. I'm going to try to fix them and eliminate the chance of having to replace any of the bulbs I don't need to. The other one that was communicating, I think it was the tail end. It was, all right, so I've got 2 strands of pixels, right, 100, and then the other one's tied into the butt end, and the other one 100 coming down. And it seemed like the whole strand was acting up. So I brought it down, I plugged it directly into the box, and it was working fine. So what I did is I swapped them. I don't know, there's an issue passing signal through the strand, so I basically made that strand the last strand, and it seems to be working. I'll just having it running here for a little while, and it seems to be working fine with no issues. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. I'm working on a tree topper. I'm going a little different. Instead of having a star, or I did a Santa hat one year, I'm doing a snowman. So it's an old snowman. It's like a cubed ice cube snowman thing. I'm getting some zip ties and stuff to secure it back together, make sure it's extra good, and then I'm going to climb it up to the top and put it at the top. I'm gonna figure out a way to secure it up there. Most likely it's gonna be bungee cords or something like that, but I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna start programming. Continue programming the DMX, hopefully. It's so hot out here, it's ridiculous. And it's 7:30 at night and I'm drenched in sweat. It's just so humid. It's disgusting. Alright, so 2 bungees up and on the back. And there's one up in the front that goes down and hooks up to about here. And it's just sitting up there, but I think the bungees will keep it down. I've also zip tied it real good together. So I put a strobe light in it too. So let's get down to the bottom and fire it up, see what it looks like. There he is. It looks just as good in the video as it does in person. It's hard to tell actually what it is. Just looks like a bunch of lights up there. But it's a topper this year. I'm sure probably look a little bit, where's it at? It's probably look a little bit better when the tree's actually going. And you can probably, hard to tell, but I did put a strobe light in it. The strobe light that I normally put at the top of the tower, just put it inside them to give it a little bit extra effect. So, unless I find something better to go up there, that's what it's going to be this year. Okay, well, it is, what day is it? I'm usually telling you. I don't know. It's November 13th. November 13th. There you go. I've been a little slacking on recording and making videos. I'm uploading a video as we speak. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this footage together of what I did and upload this video again as well. It is about 10 o'clock. We are going to be leaving for Orlando here in the next hour or two, and I wanted to kind of end this video or make a clip, show you kind of what we've done and a finalization of what we're doing here. I started on the extension cords that I needed to for these candy canes, which now, because of kind of a change in plans, I've made them a little longer than I needed to. I guess longer is better than shorter, but I want to put red and white on this red and white candy cane. That's one strand of red and one strand of white. Now, the size of the candy cane, I can go up and back and up and back, which is a lot. It's just in white, and then same thing with red. So if you're looking at how many lights are on this thing, I basically got 4 strips of red and 4 strips of white. That's a lot. And if I were to wrap this around here, it would kind of defeat the purpose of the look of the candy cane. You would see green wire, and I don't like that. So I'm going to wait until it gets dark. Probably have to wait until after I get back from this trip. But I'm going to, as you probably know, with a standard set of incandescent lights, you take one bulb out of one section. If it's part of the first half, that half will go out. The second half will stay lit. So I think that's what I'm going to wind up doing. Is going to take the first bulb out, killing the first half of the section, and then basically wrapping the second half of the section around the candy cane on both white and red. And that will eliminate half of the strands on this thing. And then I could use the out half as a leader towards where the plug is. Now, because I'm running short on my 16 gauge wire, I've repositioned this box, which was going to be on that tree. There's going to be a box on that tree feeding the tree, but there's going to be the second box which fed everything in the yard. I'm moving that to here. I'm going to put a stake in the ground and put the box right here, just to make the extension cords to plug in everything a little bit less. Which I'm not a big fan of what I'm doing here, but it'll make it work. I'm going to get it like there's going to be a table sitting here, kind of like it was for Halloween, with a projector on the garage. So I'm going to put like a runner or a mat or something over these wires and tie them all together so it's not a trip hazard. But this is where everything is plugging in, and that is going to all these candy canes on that side and this side, the whole fence, the lights are going on the pillar. Those are all coming in to this box right here. So, but the good thing is when I have the leader, I'll have about 10 foot of leader on these cords that that's enough to cover that. So the extension cord that I'd make from here to here, I don't have to make anymore. Which in some cases I could have saved 10 foot on each of these extension cords that I've custom made for this. But Hindsight's 2020. All right, so that's the project, but it's gonna have to wait until next video when I get back. We have completed the wrap of the palm tree. I don't know if I'll flash up some pictures of this thing lit up. I don't think I took any video of it. I might have, I don't know, I don't remember. But I did have half a section that was out on the blue, which I went ahead and I climbed up there and I replaced that blue strand. I've also moved the disco ball up higher. When I first initially installed it, I installed it too low. So that all that project is done, ready to go. On my list of things to do was to finish painting that I started painting over almost a year ago. The house, there was just one section up here that was still brown, so I had to get up there this morning and paint that. This way I could put lights up on the eave. Every night I've been out programming. I haven't really filmed any of that because that's just boring stuff anyway. As you saw in the previous video, I fixed all the lights on the Christmas tree, and I put the snowman up the top, which I'm not happy with the way it looks, so it's going to be switched out eventually as well. And that's it for now. Things to still do. I got to finish the candy canes. I had to put lights on the house, wrap the pillars. I've got to install the Lightorama boxes. I got to finish programming. I've got to get the setup for the table and where the projector's going to go, and then just do some final touches. But we're getting pretty close. Today's Saturday, so 2 weeks from yesterday is my deadline. So hopefully that will all be done and ready to go. In the meantime, we've got Liam's birthday. We've got a Thanksgiving. We got 2 Thanksgiving dinners basically, and obviously work. And we're going out of town this weekend, so got plenty of stuff to do to keep me busy until then. But hopefully, with any luck, everything will be up and running with no issue, because we worked out all those issues with Halloween show. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Like and follow, and we'll see you on the next video.